90s.
90s. So everyone, this is my friend Adam Khalil. We've known each other since freshman year in high school.
Yeah, I was a sophomore.
And so we have quite a history being besties in high school. Got into a lot of trouble together, got close with your sister.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about growing up in the 90s as compared to what it is right now. But I'm going to actually let Adam lead because he's pretty well known for having the gift of gab and being very smart.
No, I mean, I think what's interesting for us is to talk about, because we've been friends for so long, and now we're talking about 3 decades have gone by, right? It's crazy to think about it, but like how much different today is than it was when we were growing up. So like in the 90s, and you go, because we watch all these things on the news and we hear about these things and it becomes commonplace, but our childhood was so much different than it is today. Like, what are the things that stand out to you the most, you think?
Well, I mean, I know we were just talking a minute ago about, in high school, how when you would first walk to school and pass those lunch tables that you would get torn to shred. And back in the day in high school, your mama jokes and just clowning people was like a part of culture. So, oh, look at Adam coming through with those dirty up shoes and and like just being able to take people making fun of you. Because back then it didn't mean you were getting bullied. It meant people liked you and they were just saying if you could take it, if you're a softie.
Right. And I think there's something different between what we went through, if you go through it in person, right, versus kids online today. It may be a person you've never met in some different city or country that could be clowning you, right? Versus like today, or when in our time, it was like the people you knew.
Right.
And you had a chance to turn those people around. So that person
and you had a chance to
you.
defend yourself.
Right. It was right there in the moment. So like if that person didn't like you today, maybe next week they did. Maybe you went out.
And there was something about in the 90s, someone saying something to your face that you respected. And and if they got a good clown on you and you're like, you know what?
You're like,
these are some old ass dirty shoes that my mom I can't afford to give me something. You really got me good there. Fuck you,
Right. And you had a chance, like versus it being so inundated. Like now on the internet, like I mean, you see these stories about kids who you can't escape it. Like it could be thousands of people commenting on your pictures or like literally bullying you.
There's something I think with internet that I feel like it hurts more when it's written down because it's not just being said to you in front of whoever's around.
Right.
You don't know who's seen it.
Right.
It's public domain.
Yeah.
Thank God you can block and report and do all those things. But still, it still hurts because you don't know where it's coming from. And you're thinking, this person really doesn't know me. They actually took time to come up with a comment to put me down. Yeah. Why? Why me?
Yeah. No, and I think...
it's a little more personal, I would say. So I have a heart for all these young kids, going through a pandemic right now, being a teenager. I mean, like, we had it good. I mean, we didn't have iPhones, right?
Right.
Which I think, in turn, it made us a little more adaptable to times today. So I'm grateful.
I think it gave you more of a sense of really who... You had at least a chance to have more of a sense of who you were. Because I think the problem today, and this is what I think is one of the biggest problems, is that when you're online and you're seeing everyone's highlight reel, right? I go on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it is, and I'm following thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not millions of people, right? I'm getting to see everyone's literally best life, best moments, best vacations, and then I'm having to live my normal day. So I wake up and I'm like, this is just normal. But all I see is like, awesome, epic. And then I'm like, my life failed. Oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's an unfair, like skewing of life, right? That like, imagine if everything you saw was great, right? But then everything you felt wasn't.
No, it's true. And I remember growing up, feeling like at some point I was like, oh, I'm a pretty girl. I didn't always think that, but at some point I was like, I feel like I'm a pretty girl. And then I got introduced to like seeing magazines with like really hot girls, like, what was it back then? What were those Maxim was really big.
FHM, things like that.
FHM and being like, whoa, like these girls are extremely hot. Like, why would a guy just want to be with me when he's got these girls like running around? So imagine being online now today, and then there's bikini girls left and right,
Endless.
And
half of them are fake in a sense because at least that photo was of one person for like, the FHM model of the month. Now you're seeing that every day and it's the technology to Photoshop and crop things and change things is so
Yeah.
crazy that like, yeah, every person can be made to look like that. And then you go, wow, there's millions of those people. And then it's just me, right? That's kind of a sad thing if you think. And I think
Yeah.
what people are starting to realize now is how divisive social media is that when you've built to this point where, and social media does have its benefits, like used as a tool for marketing or business could be great.
Right.
But in terms of like actual people's own self-esteem and self-confidence, let alone kids, right? But like even adults, I mean, there's adults who still spend their whole life scrolling, thinking, I wish I could be, and think about how that's affecting you internally. Like you don't
Big
believe
time.
in yourself
Yeah.
because you're seeing this world that's being scripted out for you and everything looks amazing, right?
Yeah.
And to compare your life to that is such an unfair thing. And it's creating this depression and like unrealistic ideology of what life is,
Yeah.
which then leads people to having almost no self-confidence because they go, well, what would it take to get there?
And I think that's kind of the main struggle, because today we're seeing a lot more younger women getting their lips filled, and nothing against people that want to fix themselves, but like it used to be a thing where like once you hit 30 or 40 and you need work done, that's what you do. But there's girls doing it while they're teenagers now, and they're changing their looks at such a young age. And I don't want to judge anybody that has the money to do something and fix themselves that's depressing them. But I also want to say that, you know, your brain is just not fully developed until, what did you say? Your brain doesn't get really fully developed till you're in your mid-20s. Yeah.
Probably. But the other problem is that when you see people who are doing those things and it works, like if I say to myself, if I'm a young girl and I see a Kylie Jenner and she's a billionaire,
yeah,
I go, well, no matter what I do to myself, it's worth it, because if I can get there,
right.
like there was no, in the 90s, there's no real example for that.
And that's what I would say. Growing up in the 90s, I feel like, what were we inspired by? We were inspired by good albums, CDs.
Yeah, movies, like
music videos and movies.
Yeah.
And then just like people and the experiences like that we would have, like the fun times.
Well, but remember, like the people who were doing the things that we were inspired by had to have enough access or talent or recognition to get there.
Yeah.
Now it's like a regular girl from Tennessee who's hot can then just post some photos and then get 1 million followers. And then now that becomes a different life. I mean, think of some of these TikTok stars who within months have had millions of people following them. Their lives are changed overnight. So now if you're a kid, you go, that could actually happen. And the funny part is it could.
And it could make them tons of money, and it could become a lifestyle and a thing.
So then in a sense, you can't, you know, for a lot of those parents who said, oh, you can't play video games, you're wasting your life. It's like, well, some kids are making millions of dollars playing video games now.
Video games is like,
so
you can make money critiquing watching video games now.
Absolutely.
On Twitch.
Right. So
we can't really judge anybody.
You can't, but that's what I'm saying. But it becomes more real, because now if I'm that girl, I go, yeah, I need to get my lips done and my hips and my butt and my boobs, because that could be a real thing. If I'm that kid and I go, Mom, shut up, I need to play video games because I'm practicing in my career. Like, that's actually could be real, but it's also a route that person may go down.
So do you think that we had to work harder because we grew up in the 90s?
I think that we had to work more realistically.
Yeah, I would say that.
I'd say that kids today have to maybe work harder in the sense that there's so much more competition. Now the world is competing. Before, like we said, when we walked through school, you just had to deal with the bullies at your lunch table. Yeah. Now you have to deal with the bullies of the world. Like, that's a very different thing. So I think we had to be more realistic. Like, am I good enough to be a model, an actor, a dancer, a singer? Because the people you saw that made it, they were really good.
They were so good.
They were really good. So meaning you couldn't you couldn't be Michael Jackson level famous with no talent.
No.
Back then.
No.
It was impossible.
You had to get into, I mean, I remember auditioning for the first girl group I was ever in. I got the audition and I was like, oh, I mean, I can sing, but I'm not that great of a singer. You know, because I was in the choir and I'd sing with my piano teacher, but I was like, I'm not sounding like Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston, because those are the girls I was listening to. And
think of your barometer. It's like Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, whereas somebody today might say, oh, I'm good enough to be on America's Got Talent, or America, you know, like, if that's your barometer, the barometer is lower now, but yet there's more access, so more people can do it, which means technically it's harder. But for us, it was like, well, am I that or am I not?
Exactly. Right? And I mean, I remember just going through that audition. It was like, oh, okay, I sang Happy Birthday because I didn't know what to sing. I was like, let me just sing something that shows I have a tone and I can sing on key. And I did get it. But he said, hey, listen, we've already got 2 lead singers. We need someone that can sing on key. And also, can you rap a little bit? And I was like, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, I could dance. I could do this. And that was the introduction to me in the music industry. But even then, we had to go through hours and hours of training.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like how to walk, how to talk, voice class, dance class, what's your style, you know, meeting with the accountants, like so many things. Like I feel like we were just getting.
And now there's an app to do all that for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can just plug in and it's like, there it is.
Bizarre.
All good. Hey everybody, I'm Adam Khalil. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I definitely want you to subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more content like this. But if this content had any value to you, click the like button as well.